Good morning, everybody. This is Ajahn Brahm on the Tuesday morning, the 23rd of June. Another little talk plus a guided meditation. And it's the front of my mind simply because we just found out this morning that somebody came into our monastery last night and they robbed our donation box. So we have to let it go. And sometimes you wonder, what is your responsibilities? And also, what can you do when things like that happen and get up in the morning, the box is open with nothing in it? You start feeling, well, I hope that whoever took that money would enjoy it and make the best use of it. Because all the donations that we do receive are all there to try and help other beings. Yeah, it pays our bills, but the main purpose of a monastery, of being a monk, is not to be rich, is not to have physical comfort, just enough comfort so that you can be healthy. But it's also, when these things happen in life, you can always feel that whoever receives that, may they be happy and well. And it reminds me of the story of the monk, the abbot who lived in a city temple a long time ago. And he woke up early in the morning, he heard a sound of someone in the main hall. And when he got up to investigate, he thought it might be one of his monks getting up early. But he found it wasn't a monk, it was a robber, a burglar, a rough fellow who had managed to find his way into the temple and had a big knife and was trying to open the donation box. And what did the monk do? The monk looked at that burglar, asked him, what are you? What are you doing? And the burglar said, keep away, keep off, or I'll knife you. I have an audience of 3 here today, and they're laughing their heads off with my imitation of a rough burglar. But anyway, the burglar was quite rough. And the monk said, if you want something, you can have it. And the monk reached into his pocket. And the burglar, pointing the knife at the monk, looking at what you're doing. And the monk brought out the keys. Said, here, this is the key to the donation box. Help yourself. And the burglar looked at the monk and was very suspicious. But he took the key and he started opening the box of all the money. And the monk looked at him and the monk said, Sir, when was the last time you had anything to eat? And the burglar, filling his pockets with the cash, none of your business. And the monk said, look, just above, in the cupboards above the donation box, you'll find some food. Food which was left over from today's meal. Please help yourself. Is this a trick? No, please help yourself. And so, having filled his pockets with the cash, the burglar opened the doors of the cupboard, and sure enough, there was lots of food there. So he filled his pockets with food as well. And as he was about to leave, still pointing the sharp knife at the monk, he said, don't call the police. And the monk said, why should I call the police? You haven't stolen this. I've given it to you. Go and have a happy day. And so the burglar left. And later on that day, he told the committee what had happened. And the committee were really impressed. Now that's a lovely attitude, to be kind to people. And that poor burglar was obviously in need. And so, it was losing a bit of money, but not that much. And obviously the next few days, the monk was reading the newspaper and saw the burglar had been caught. the same burglar had been caught robbing another person's house who wasn't so kind. Was put in jail for about 10 years. 10 years later, that monk was much older, but still alive and still the head of the monastery. And he woke up very early. When he heard a noise very early in the room where the donation box was, and he went to investigate, and what do you think he saw? That same man, 10 years older, the burglar, he'd now been released from jail. And he was in in the monastery with a sharp knife again. And the burglar looked at the monk. "Do you remember me?" "Ah, yes," said the old monk. "Here's the keys, help yourself." At which the burglar put down the knife and smiled at this monk and said, "For the last 10 years, in jail every day, I was thinking of you. You're the only person who's been kind to me, who's been forgiving and tried to help me. I've been thinking that the last time I came to this monastery, I stole the wrong thing. I stole money, I stole food. Now I've come back to steal again from you, monk. I want to steal the secrets of your kindness and your wisdom. Please make me your disciple." And that's how the burglar became a monk. Nice little story. It's based on stories which I've heard and read from many, many places in Thailand and in Sri Lanka. And it's a beautiful story. What is the purpose of the spiritual life and the monastic life? And sometimes, instead of being upset, we just hope whoever stole that money enjoys it and can learn some wisdom and compassion. Unfortunately, there are lots of Dhamma books next for free. And I don't think they stole any of those. Should have put a sign there. Anyone who robs the box, please take 2 or 3 copies of the books as your free extra gift. But you can see what happens is that sometimes people get upset and angry, and they just, the money's gone. So instead of getting upset and angry and letting people steal your happiness and peace, they can steal money, but they can't steal the reason why I'm a monk. The peace, the happiness, the forgiveness, the joy, which is the most important things in this world. And that means that we take responsibility for these. And when it comes to further on your practice of meditation, which is supposed to be a guided meditation session, you can see just how that's a wonderful example. That it doesn't matter how busy you are in your life, and all the problems and difficulties and things which we have to solve and duties we have to perform, don't allow that ever to steal your peace and happiness and your tranquility. We work, we do our duties, we organize things. Why? For me, being a senior monk, I do all that organization so that I can have moments of peace. And the best organizer that I can be means I can have lots and lots of moments of peace. Times I can just go into the cave where I live and just sit down and forget about the whole world. Forget about burglars and forget about builders and forget about weather and forget about all these duties which I'm supposed to perform. Because my main duty must always be being at peace with the world. If that means I'm being kind to someone, then I will be kind to them. Obviously, it's much more fun that way, and it's much more important. So little by little, we learn how to treat the world with a lower priority than our spiritual life, which must always have the highest priority. Instead of worrying about the world, and finding so much time and effort to figure out the world and make it sort of just the way we want, we'd make our peace our most important priority. And we just spend time and time and time, if we need to, organizing how we can find more peace. And just making sure that as managers of our time, of our life, we can schedule in so much peace in our life. Especially the older you get, you're not really expected to do so much management stuff. We are expected to have more time in a peaceful life. So when we give peace priority, we find it's much easier to find peace. When we're in a quiet environment like this hall in which I'm speaking, in that quiet environment, all people can open up their iPhones, they can just send text messages, or they can find out just what the stock market is doing, or who's winning the football match or something. They just disturb the peace. Leave all that to another time, another place. And when you find that the stillness of your life is the most important, then you'll find more time for it. People often say you cannot take your wealth, your resources, or even your fame with you after you die. You will take your peace with you. That's something which is there for you for such a long time. That is why it's worthwhile investing in the peace of your mind. It's important. And you find that even some of the Buddha's similes, like meditating like your turban is on fire. Of course, we don't use turbans, but it means it's most important. If your turban was on fire, of course that would take all priority over everything else to put that out before your head got all burnt. The same with our meditation. Make sure we put out the fires of wanting, and ill will, and concerns, because that's burning our mind. You know what I mean, how it burns our mind. We've got so many things to worry about. We get stressed out, and that gives huge amounts of emotional and physical health problems. We can put out those fires and just be, to grant ourselves these moments of peace, because they're important. To learn to be kind, even if somebody comes and steals all your donations for the past few days. Be kind. Be gentle. And that means that one really is living a spiritual life. And that means that you will do very, very well in your meditation practice and create so many things which you will be able to take with you when you pass away. So let's now get into our meditation postures. Sitting down with eyes closed. Becoming aware of our body. We've got to live with our body. Sometimes people have a partner in life and sometimes they get on together, sometimes they need to take some time out, sometimes even need to get separated. But your body, your partner called your body, you can't separate from that until death. So look after it. Care for it. It's a wonderful thing when you learn to care for something, how that something becomes so soft and so pleasant to be with. I'm just caring for my body. And as usual, I start with my legs, asking my legs, how are they? How are you doing, legs? This is my way of establishing mindfulness with my legs by just asking, how are you? And I can feel them. Feel them sitting here. The top left thigh is a bit tight. That's because I was meditating maybe a bit too much this morning. I can't really say too much, but for a long time it's a little bit stiff. So just relax it. Adjust the posture. Watch my legs feel good. I will always stop and care for them. Whenever you need an adjustment, legs, just ask and I'll adjust for you. With that degree of care, the sense of fear and the tightness which comes from fear and the inflammations which come from that tightness are just taken away. Sense of safety makes things relax. Same with my butt. It's a pretty ordinary part of my body, but it does affect my meditation a lot. Sometimes, if I don't adjust the butt properly, sitting down on a cushion, my leg can go to sleep, and it's sort of unpleasant. Get the pins and needles feelings. So I make sure that my butt is well balanced on the cushion. And then I ask my back, how are you? My back, as usual, wants a nice stretch. So I give it a good stretch. One of the reasons I give it a stretch is not just for future comfort, but immediate delight of the endorphins being secreted into my bloodstream. Oh, that feels good. It really does. And I get myself into a nice back posture. Is that okay, back? And I said, yeah, fine, thank you. If you treat your parts of your body like individual beings, you know their character, you know their idiosyncrasies, you know their failings, you can learn to live with them at peace. As I'm learning to live with my shoulders now, relaxing them to the max. Mindfulness allows me to feel even muscles, and I can know when they're tight, and I can know when they're loose. And I know how to move them from tightness to looseness. That's exactly what I'm doing to my shoulders now. When they're tight, they feel a bit unpleasant. When they're really loose, they feel great. Very pleasant. Move down my arms. I don't really have any problems with my elbows, but if you have, just stay there and just see if you can relax your elbows. See what's necessary to lessen inflammations, to decrease pain, to bring even your elbows to a state of the best ease you can possibly get. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's better. Then go to your hands and your wrists as well, making sure that your hands are at peace. I ask my hands, what do you need? Are you comfortable like that, or do you want to be adjusted? And I listen to what my hands tell me. Listening to what they tell me is called awareness, mindfulness. When my hands are really in a good place, and they're happy there, I go back up to my shoulders and my neck, just balancing the head upon my neck. Making sure the head's not too far forward, not too far back. It's really balanced. Then check my throat. Because I do have hay fever. And the wattles are now flowering in this part of the world. And I relax my throat, taking away as much tension as I possibly can. How do you do that? Trial and error. You're aware of any irritation factors in your throat. You find what eases that sense of irritation. And you also learn what increases that irritation. Mindfulness focused on one part of the body gives you learning. And then I go to my face. Just all the muscles around the eyes and the mouth, and the forehead, and anywhere else in my face. Because I know those tightness around the eyes or around the mouth, most of them just come from emotional baggage. And by loosening the tension of those muscles around eyes and mouth, I'm also just letting go of their emotional causes. Allow my face to get very peaceful, soft, relaxed, with nothing pulled apart, nothing stretched, nothing under strain, all nice and loose. And then I am aware of my whole body sitting here. One unit. Spend the last 10 minutes just relaxing the whole of it. And the result is it feels very comfortable. It feels delightful. And it's the delight of my body that I focus on. When I've enjoyed the delight of a relaxed body enough, then I go to my peaceometer, that little thing which I describe by that word, peaceometer, which describes how peaceful or how agitated I am. And make sure I know why I'm agitated or why I'm peaceful. So I can get that level of peace deeper and deeper. You do find when you are peaceful, the mind doesn't want to wander because it likes peace. The peaceful retreat center, peaceful hall, peaceful cave, where you find peace. It's so attractive. You don't want to wander off anywhere. You're happy being here. I develop that delight, that happiness of just being here. Don't want to go anywhere, don't want to gain anything, don't want to attain things. I just want to be here, in this moment. And I find that's a cause of the mind getting very peaceful and very alert. It's like the energy is not spread out too far, it's all focused in this moment. So the energy is stronger. I'm more awake. I usually become aware of my breathing. My good old friend, my breath. We just hang out together. Me being aware of the breath. Breath goes somewhere, I go with it. The breath stops, I stop. As I regard the awareness of breathing like being with a dear old friend, it's delightful. And the delight in being with my breath keeps my attention right on the breath. I will now be quiet for 5 minutes. When I speak again, it'll be close to the end of the meditation. So now, getting close to the end of the meditation, how do you feel? Don't just come straight out of meditation. Just come slowly out, feeling the peace, experiencing the joy of relaxation, so you can value the effect on your health and well-being of meditation. I will now ring the gong 3 times. Or not 3 times, sorry. I will just make it sound. And then to give everybody a blessing, especially to the burglar who took all the donations last night. May he or she be happy and well. Sabbaroga vinimuto, sabba santapo vajito, sabba veramati gando, nibuto chatuang bhawa, sabitio viva chantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavan vantarayo sukhi dikayugo bhava apiva danhasilitsa nichang Vuttapacalino Chattaro Dhamma Vatanti Ayuano Sukhang Balang. May you all be happy and well. Lots of good health and lots of peace in your life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.